The Polar Express is directed by Robert Zemeckis and it stars Tom Hanks in multiple roles in this film. And speaking of this film, it depicts human characters using live action and motion capture computer animation. And the film is set on Christmas Eve. And it tells the story of a young boy who sees a mysterious train bound for the North Pole stop outside his window and is invited aboard by uh of invited abroad by its conductor. He joins other children as they embark on a journey to visit Santa Claus who is preparing for Christmas. All right. So I know Elf is one of the best it's a Chris I know like Elf is one of the best Christmas films of all time, and that's fine. Like after I enjoyed I enjoyed Elf, but like I said, I've only seen the movie just very recently. Like I just saw this movie like earlier today. Um I think I saw the movie on Max, and I was like, man, I wish I saw this movie sooner because I really enjoyed it. Not perfect, but it definitely is one of the Elf is definitely one of the best Christmas films of all time. Um, but for me, like I remember when I was a child. I watched The Polar Express, and I was like a little kid, like I was a little baby kid who sat down and watched, The Polar Express. I think it was in elementary school, or maybe I rented it in Blockbuster or something like that. Remember Blockbuster? Yeah. Um, I think I seen this movie so many times, and I was just in awe of this movie. Like, I know people love Elf or, Home Alone is a classic, and there's The Nightmare Before Christmas. But for me, my favorite Christmas movie is actually The Polar Express. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's just I get so maybe it's because of nostalgia. I think that is the primary reason why I love this movie so much and it means so much to me. Uh and but I didn't know any of the actors. I didn't know I mean I wasn't like I was just a little kid who just wanted to watch movies. Um but as I grew older, I started you know, I started to dive into the world of cinema and film and directing and directing and like everything, the production, making of film. And trying like become a critic and like all that, but yeah, like I always go back to this movie. This film is my Christmas film. I keep going back to this movie. Yeah, like I know, like I said, I know people you might watch Home Alone or Elf as I recently reviewed, or The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a film that yeah, people are like some people say like is The Nightmare Before Christmas like a Halloween or Christmas movie? I say it's both. If you ask me, I say it's both. It's a great movie and you get to watch it not just once but twice every year. Halloween and Christmas. It's a great experience. But anyway, enough with all that. Like I didn't know this movie was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who worked with Tom Hanks in so many movies like Castaway, what else? Oh my God. Well, obviously, no shit, The Polar Express. Oh, Forrest Gump. Maybe one. I haven't seen Forrest Gump. Yeah, I know. Please don't attack me. Don't strangle me. Don't shoot me, please. I will eventually one day in the future get around and finally see Forrest Gump. But I recently saw the film Here, with Robin Wright. Tom Hanks, among with other actors and actresses, and that movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis as well. But yeah, like this film, like okay, so this film received a lot of mixed reviews from critics when it initially came out back in 2004 is when this film is the year this film came out in theaters. Um, but it was the highest, but it grossed $286 million against a record-breaking 165 to like between 165 to like $170 million budget, which was the highest for an animated feature at that time. So there is one big positive coming out of this film. Um, and this film would later, it would become in 2006 it would be listed in Guinness World Record as the first all digital captured film like in history. um yeah, and this film is dedicated in the memory of Jeter. If you don't know who Michael Jeter is, he voiced Smokey and he did the voice for Smokey and Steamer, or Stemmer. Is it Stemmer or Steamer? Steamer. Okay, Michael. Yeah. Okay, Steamer. So yeah, I do appreciate that, um, and that's very nice and kind for them too to honor his passing. But anyway, to respect and honor his passing. But anyway, yeah, why don't we dive right into this movie? I'm going to be talking about the positives, the negatives, and you guys know how it goes. So, this film follows the source material book very faithfully. From what I haven't read the book, but after looking this movie up and typing it on Google, after Googling it and doing some research and reading some articles, I found out that people really, respect this movie for being, and Robert Zemeckis and the writers and everyone, for being very faithful towards the source material for the book and never took any liberties. And I just like the idea of the story, of this story. This boy is trying to find out if Santa is real while, he enters the express train ride journey to the frozen landscapes of the vast North Pole is a very creative idea of this story. And, there's also some very beautiful motion capture animation. I mean, for the first time, for the first, like literally the first time in history. I don't know about history, but maybe in American history. How about that? I'll have to look it up if it's like the first ever like motion capture animation like worldwide. Um, but anyway, yeah, it is very similar. This film is very similar to Shrek. How so? Well, it has a very well designed, complex and realistic character designs, because of the animations. The score is also incredible. It's by Alan Silvestri, who, if I'm not mistaken, he composed the music for the best, so for like the best like MCU movie, like the very first Avengers movie. Like he did the score, and that was just amazing. And I just love Alan. Alan is on my like top five favorite music composer of all time, like period. He composed the music for the Avengers. Well, this movie, well, he would later on and do that. But yeah, the film takes a unique look at believing in Santa, treating it as a challenge of faith, whether he's real or not. There's also some likable and really entertaining characters, including the hero boy, conductor, hero girl, and Billy. What helps this film's character stands out from the others is that very few characters are given names, as Robert Zemeckis, the director of this film, thought it would be unnecessary if none of them were going to be addressed. which is a pretty ballsy move. What is, a pretty bold move. And speaking of Zemeckis, he did a fairly amazing job following the book, and he stays the spirit to the book. I actually want to find out if he wrote the screenplay. Yes, he did. He wrote the screenplay with William. He co-wrote it with William Boyles Jr. Okay, I see. So yeah, he wrote it too. He co-written the script for this film. And some scenes have a very fast roller coaster esque pace in order to make the film feel like a proper wild ride. On the same subject, this is why the film is the rare case where the 3D helps improve the experience. Like I remember, like this movie came out in 2004, so everyone was taking out their 3D glasses. 3D glasses was a thing back in the day, but nowadays it fucking like it messes up with my eyes. The cinematography is really amazing, which captures impressive background colors. There is a complete tone of whimsy within every scene in order to make the experience truly magical. This film also has some catchy and unforgettable musical numbers that combine original tunes, including ballads, children's fun songs, and Christian-esque pop with Christmas classics performed by the like of Bing Crosby, Perry Como, and the Andrews sisters. Excuse me. It's simply awesome. These are like hot chocolate when Christmas comes to town, and even Believe. Tom Hanks plays, like I said, in the premise, he plays multiple roles in the film. Hero Boy, where he did the motion capture. Hero Boy's father, the conductor. Hobo, Scrooge, the Scrooge puppet, Santa Claus himself, the Santa Claus, and he's also the narrator, Tom Hanks. I mean, it's Tom Hanks, man. He's like America's dad, all right? He is America's dad. I just love Tom Hanks. Who doesn't love Tom Hanks? Um, Proving that he has a terrific vocal range. And I don't know why, but ever since this is a random thought. This is just a random memory and has nothing to do with this movie, but I just wanted to get this out of the way. Whenever since for when I was a little kid, I always got Tom Hanks and Bill Murray confused. Like I don't know why my childish kid brain got the two of them confused, Tom Hanks and Bill Murray. I don't know why. I was like, wait a minute. It wasn't Tom Hanks in Ghostbusters. I'm like, no, that's wait, no, that's Bill Murray. Bill Murray was the Ghostbusters. That was like me when I was a little kid, before I discovered the internet and before I had like access to the internet and the phone and before I had my very first phone and all that. But yeah, um, but yeah, now I know now. But yeah, moving on, the way that the conductor, Tom Hanks' character, delivers the line, "Who in the blazes applied that emergency brake?" quote is actually a pretty hilarious quote, if I do say so myself. But anyway, yeah. If I have to say any issues that I had with this film, I mean, sometimes not like the whole movie, but sometimes, yeah, I can see that the character animation gets a little bit. It looks a little creepy, doesn't it? And it's understandable. This was the first time they made use of live action motion capture computer animation in a movie, which is a pretty like which is understandable, but I guess I could let it slide. But for its time, I mean, yeah. But anyway, the story can be a bit awkward at times, with a couple of scenes that only exist to pad the film's runtime, including one scene where the girl's ticket is blown away by a wolf pack and almost being fed to a baby bird before it finds its way back to the train, you could cut that scene and not miss a thing. The two characters, Smokey and Steamer, kind of pointless. You might disagree. I think you'll definitely disagree with me, but that's just a slight minor issue, a minor complaint. Know It All is a pretty unlikable character, and he's very annoying in my opinion. In one scene, he snitched on Hero Boy for pulling the emergency brake, even if even though it was his idea. Like I couldn't with him. I thought he was pretty unlikable overall. But yeah, like I said, this movie would later on, and it became like the first all digital capture film. Like that's an achievement right there. And it made a record breaking money. It broke, a record at the box office. Um, so yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and but yeah, I love the Polar Express. You guys can watch Elf and Black Christmas and A Nightmare Before Christmas, or The Nightmare Before Christmas and Home Alone, but for me, this is my childhood. The Polar Express is my childhood. There was talks about a sequel, but I don't think no, you don't need a sequel. I don't want a sequel to this movie. Just one is just this once is fine by me. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say for the Polar Express, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking time listening to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe because that would help me out a lot. I appreciate that. I'm thankful for all that. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.